Hi guys, this is Victoria and I'm here with a special edition reading. It's going to be dedicated to Lunar New Year, which starts today. Actually, of course, um, the time zone will dictate a little bit more on the timing. I would suggest, because it's a Chinese New Year, uh, Chinese tradition, go with Chinese timing. But it's up to you, of course. The main thing is that Chinese people, and also there are other countries, of course, in Asia that recognize this as an official celebration. The truth is they celebrate for 2 weeks, so whichever time you pick is kind of insignificant because such a big celebration that you'll have all the time in the world to celebrate it, even if you start a little bit later than everyone else. But it definitely kicks in the new cycle. We know that this is new moon in Aquarius as we speak. We also know that the solar eclipses happen on the same day. It's not something that easily coincides, but they say when these big milestones coincide, it's supposed to highlight something for you even stronger, right? Or bring a new insight to a specific area of life. So I will pull a card from an oracle deck. This is my Spirit Junkie deck. We'll see what does it signify. What does this new Lunar New Year of Fire Horse signify for us, especially as it begins, right? We won't necessarily get a theme for the entire year, but we will see what should we pay attention to at this time. How is this beginning significant, right? At least for today and for the upcoming 2 weeks, I would say, because this is still this celebration phase, celebration cycle of the beginning of the Lunar New Year. And then I decided that the tarot read I'm gonna do similarly to how I do my monthly horoscope. So we'll talk about love life, personal space, then career, workspace, and then guidance from the universe, right? What can you do right now to benefit from this energy and also to put your best foot forward, so to speak? We will do it that way, but of course this is a collective reading, so take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. By the way, if you haven't seen February horoscopes yet, they are on my channel. I have an individual one for each zodiac sign. There is a special reading, separate reading for the eclipse that is also happening today. It's a solar annular eclipse. I talk more about it in that reading, obviously, and it has guidance for each, or a message, I guess, for each zodiac sign with regards to the eclipse. And right now, our context is this Lunar New Year. So without further ado, let's get started. Hope you guys are doing great. Let's see. So the card is, I breathe calmly and easily. I'm safe in this moment. To me, this is very much like a fool's card, really, if we compare to tarot, right? It's like, first of all, presence in the moment, like in the current moment. And that's where the fool begins. They don't really have much, right? They're just focusing on the present, where it will take them. And also, of course, having faith that, however your life is unfolding right now, it is done for a reason. There is some kind of message behind it, and there's no need to worry then, right? Like, everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to be. Once you have that faith, you can start breathing more calmly, more safely. Of course, for some of you, this could also be guidance to pay attention to your breathing. Maybe start a new practice. I don't know, it could be square breathing for getting yourself out of anxiety or panic attack. It could be breath work techniques, just the way you breathe. I don't know, maybe you have issues with sinuses here, one person here, right? And you need to do something about that to improve your breathing. But yeah, something to do with that. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. I am gonna use the Lightseer's Tarot. I feel like this is gonna be a more suitable deck for this kind of read. And this will be a 9-card spread. All right, and we're starting off really nicely with 9 of Cups. In my culture especially, it's customary to make a wish on New Year's night. And usually we do that when The clock strikes midnight, right? And we're supposed, before it strikes like the 12 times, we're supposed to, come up with that wish for it to come true in the new year. I don't know whether there is a similar tradition in Chinese culture, but I would say it's very important to understand what is it that you want to create, right? This is a new cycle like any new moon, but this is a bigger deal, right? This is like new cycle with the capital N, capital C, right? So it's very important to be very clear on what is it that you want to create, what is it that you dream of, quite honestly, that way. So don't be like, okay, what am I supposed to think about or to dream into my existence? It's like, no, what do you really want, right? But yeah, sorry, I'll finish with the spread and then we'll, oh my god, Two of Cups in the left space, come on. This is so cool. And Ace of Wands, love it. For the career and workspace, we have Nine of Pentacles. Similar message, by the way, to Nine of Cups. In this case, the Empress. Some Taurus vibe here. And King of Cups. Nice. And then the advice, King of Swords. King of Wands. Look at all these kings. What are we missing? King of Pentacles. And Knight of Cups. Wow, a lot of masculine energy. She guess makes sense with that fiery horse symbol of the year. Five of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so during this time, I mean, at least these 2 weeks, we may feel, and by the way, I just now realized that the eclipse season is also 2-week long, right? So we are experiencing solar eclipse today, with the beginning of this Lunar New Year celebration. And then 2 years later, 2 years, oh my god, 2 weeks later, there will be a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse. Of course, we'll talk about it. I'll have a separate reading on the channel. But the important part and why I'm talking about it, that this kind of coincides also with this Lunar New Year celebration cycle. Very interesting, both 2 weeks long. Yeah, so during these 2 weeks, you may experience this feeling, or you may be facing this, something from your subconscious is going to be coming up in terms of, am I being seen? Do people know me? Are they interested in me? That's what I'm hearing, right? Like, how do they see me, right? Feeling lonely maybe at times, so feeling like they don't understand you, right? But through that process, I mean, of course, I'm giving you a very synoptical version of this, right? And it is a collective read, so take it how it resonates for you. But through this kind of emotional seesaw, you will be able to narrow down to what is really important for you, right? So going back to the personal space and love life, I mean, major cards, I've already mentioned the Nine of Cups and knowing what you want, what do you want to create, not what you're supposed to want, but what you really want, right? And you don't need to tell everyone. You can just keep it to yourself, journal about it. I would say it's kind of important to be able to say it out loud, or at least to write it down. So I would recommend having an opportunity to do that, even if you're talking to your plant or your pet, or you're just out in nature talking out loud. It will make a big difference, I promise you. And then with these 2 cards, with Two of Cups, Ace of Wands, there is this great attraction, great passion with someone else. It might as well be the romantic passion and, that soulmate connection. For some, it will be more like meeting my teacher, my master, even I'm hearing, which is a weird thing to say. But, from that perspective, like, this is the master of the art that I'm pursuing. And we just click, or I get it. Like, I hear what this person is saying and I get it. And I want to know more. And, I'm just being pulled in their direction. If it's romantic, this is going to be like both people are very attracted to one another physically, right? It's like cannot keep hands off each other. But even with that, the both of you understand that it's not just physical. It's not like an animal instinct. There's definitely something where, and different people will use different vocabulary, but basically this is a past life connection. And one of the obvious aspects of the soulmate connection is that there is a soul contract, right? So you're being so attracted, so magnetized to each other because there is something that the two of you are supposed to teach each other. So be curious, be open-minded. I would say journal this journey with this person as much as possible so you don't miss any nuances. For your career space, we have Nine of Pentacles, the Empress, and King of Cups, sorry. So these cards are a lot more practical. They're about, again, Nine of Pentacles, creating what you want, the life that you want, the lifestyle that you want. Not forgetting about the creative and nurturing side to it, right? So don't be like a cutthroat entrepreneur that like goes for everything as long as, or anything as long as it gets them their goal. No, it's not about that. It's like keep it light, keep it fun, and if anything, this will also be an inspiration to other people, right? So it's important to keep it that way, not muddied in politics, in gossip, in judgment, etc., etc. I also like this King of Cups because King of Cups is this diplomat figure, right? It could be you assuming this role, or it could be somebody else in your space who will be, in your workspace in this context, who will be around to help negotiate, to help smooth the rough edges. And don't neglect this person, right? Use their capacity, their resource for whatever is needed now to create this space where you could be expressing yourself creatively, uniquely, and where whatever you're doing for work, let's call it that way, is contributing to the lifestyle and life you want to create for yourself that is supposed to go beyond work. That's like a little note in brackets for some people who may not understand what is the connection. The work is supposed to attribute to the life that you want to build, not the other way around, where you're building your life around the work that you have, right? A lot of people still live in that reality. I just had that download earlier this week, but today's Monday. I mean, at some point last week, right? And it hit me of like, and I had a conversation with someone, and because I don't really see myself that way, but even for me, there's still layers of like how much do I still think that way? Like the job is so important that I can do this, I can do that to make it work, but that's not the approach. All right, finally, look at all this gentlemen. For the advice on what to do, you have King of Swords, King of Wands, and Knight of Cups. By the way, the one king we're missing is King of Pentacles, which means that right now is not the time to think about necessarily profit and financial strategy. I'm not saying that it's not important, but it's not really in focus right now, right? What's important to pay attention to and to invest your time and energy in is other areas. So we already talked about that diplomatic ability to negotiate. And by the way, even if it's a different person, you can still learn from them, and you're supposed to. Here we have ability, and kings are masters of their suit. You remember that, right? So here we have King of Swords, the master, well, actually also negotiation, but in different capacity. If King of Cups is more about empathy, reading the room, reading between the lines, and working with that energy. King of Swords is more about, I'm going to give you the figures, I'm going to get you the facts that, just going to hit you in the right places to get us the outcome that we want, or for you to agree to our offer. But those are useful skills too, right? So whatever difficult conversations, again, air quotes, you think you're going to have, just come prepared, do a little bit of prep work, even if you think it's supposed to be impromptu and improvised, but it doesn't hurt if it helps you make your point and deliver the message across in a more persuasive way, if you have the numbers, if you've done the homework, the research, whatever is needed. The King of Wands is advising you to, well, actually follow your passion, but also work on your craft, right? Work on your gifts, discover your gifts. And again, for different people, the context will be very different for this one, but I would say it's like that primal drive. For some people, it's also the calling of the ancestors, right? Because the gifts we also inherit from our ancestors. So they are reminding, like, you also have a gift for this, you have a gift for that, and you're supposed to use it, it's important. So maybe if you have a way to also connect with the ancestors, to clarify for yourself the situation, you know, what you're supposed to do, you can also do that. And last but not least, with the Nine of Cups here, it's important not to forget about pleasures in life. That's what I'm hearing for this specific card in this specific case, right? Have moments where they're not for a specific deep meaning, for a practical reason, but just because, whether it's with your lover, with your friend, with your sibling, parent, or even by yourself. Maybe you decided to ask yourself on a date. So, and you can search for ideas online, by the way. So many great ideas. Not that I've searched myself, but I've seen people post it on social media from time to time, and I mean, it does sound great. I also know some people who practice this on a regular basis, right? They have, especially if you're an introvert, that could be like really cherry on top for you to show up for yourself in that self-caring capacity, and that energy is all over the place here. That's what's needed right now. All right, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. This was your Lunar New Year read. I hope it was helpful. If so, don't forget to like the video. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. And until next time.